All right, welcome to episode 96 of the Ricky Henderson podcast, the greatest of all podcasts in GOAP. Got another full house for today's episode. I'm your host, Alex Espinoza, with my co-host, Dr. Hot Dog Hal Gordon.
Doggy, 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 a dog.
And we got Bryan from Last Dive Bar and one of the co-founders of the Oakland Ballers, Paul Freedman. How you doing, Paul? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So excited to be on 96 episodes. That's amazing. That episode 130 is going to be a big one, right? That's going to be
right. Ricky, we got to have Ricky on at some point, and then he'll find out that what the name is, so he's going to shut down the whole operation. It'll be great. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Bryan? So Paul, I and both you guys. I mean, how stoked you guys for Saturday? Of course, you guys are going to honor the history of the Coliseum at Raimondi Park. I saw the newsletter you guys put out today. You kind of detailed the whole meaning behind it. And do you kind of want to explain that, Paul? Like why you picked Saturday to do this?
Yeah, I mean, so this is a big day for us. So we had intended to play this game on Saturday, the 29th, against the Northern Colorado Owls at the Coliseum. We had signed a contract. We had put our deposit in. We had even, made a promo. We had given a bunch of tickets to Little Leagues. Like we wanted to have a positive day at the Coliseum to honor the fact that baseball was going to stay in Oakland. And we thought it was going to be a celebration of the fact that, Oaklanders get to decide whether baseball stays or doesn't. And then the powers that be decided that they wanted to execute a block in their agreement and prevent us from playing there. And so we're not playing there, but we're going to keep the date. And what we're going to do instead is we're going to honor the Last Dive Bar. We're going to honor the Coliseum. We're going to honor the legacy that is baseball in Oakland. We're just going to do it here. And we're going to, we partnered with the Last Dive Bar on it. Bryan and Paul, have some really fun stuff planned. I don't want to give it away, but it's cool. And we're reaching real deep back into some old cuts. Like we're gonna ghost ride a Volvo, right?
Yeah. But one of the first viral videos from like 06 or 07. Yeah.
Yeah, the video that stopped the A's from going to Fremont. That video stopped the A's from going to Fremont. But more importantly, it's like, this is the best fan base in the world. Like, who does that stuff? Who creates a viral video that gets 17 million views that has a team rethink, moving where they're going to move? And like, that's what we're honoring. And we're super excited to do it.
Well, Bryan, I don't know how much you can divulge, but what do you and the Last Dive Bar gang got planned for Saturday? Or I don't know if you could preview or tease or like, what are fans expecting?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I put pretty much almost everything out already. So if you're following on socials, you've kind of seen everything that's going to be offered, right? We have 1,000 Rally Possum car flags that are going to be given away. And so we worked with Guy Slawinski on that, with also Ace Fan by Design of LDB. And so we got 1,000 of those that we're going to be given away. It's funny because we wanted to do that car flag before we knew about Scrappy. So we didn't even know their mascot was going to be a possum. So the fact that it is a possum, it's like our possum and their possum colliding. And so that's pretty dope. But we also got additional, the character that's on that car flag. We have 200 LDB baller pins that we're going to be giving out as well. And so I think we're going to be having some of the in-game celebrities that'll be there. They'll be passing those out, mingling with fans and everything like that. And then we got a bunch of in-game, contests that'll be going on, and trivia and stuff like that, where we're going to be providing the in-game prizes and everything like that. So you'll get some LDB Coliseum photography. We have a bunch of T-shirts that we're going to be shooting off into the crowd, and then we got 2 boxes of Last Dive Bells that we're actually going to be providing to the Ballers that they're going to be selling, and then the proceeds for that will be benefiting the Backyard Boys. So that's pretty cool. So it's going to raise like over $1,000 for local charity. So that's going to be awesome. And so we're going to be debuting that and providing that to them for Saturday. And then, we also got like some contributors that have worked hand in hand with us over the years. Some vloggers and videographers that have made some really amazing videos and clips that will be shown throughout the game and everything like that. And so a lot of, homages to not only the work that LDB has done, but also time at the Coliseum, and looking forward to Raimondi Park. So,
And
so
like a
that should
lot
be
of
pretty
in-game
cool.
entertainment stuff too, like some surprises, right? Or what? Some things people got to be there to see, kind of thing, right? Or what?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think Paul, we're going to be talking probably tomorrow, maybe about like some of the scheduling and stuff.
We're gonna get some nostalgia. We're gonna get some stuff that if you've seen some games at the Coliseum, you'll be like, oh yeah, they brought that back. We brought that back.
Yeah.
Too bad you can't bring.
So we got
Hal back.
and then we got the rally possum races. I've been forgetting to post that. I mentioned it like early on in like an early post, but I haven't mentioned it since. So I actually got to get some pictures of these costumes, and so yeah, so we're gonna involve the fans in some of the festivities, and get them on the field and doing some crazy stuff, and again winning some prizes, and just bringing that atmosphere, that energy that A's fans have, right, and bringing that into Raimondi as Ballers fans, and so it's really the game to me is more of a symbolic thing, because obviously all the fans sitting at Raimondi, once we're sitting at the Coliseum, and so this is the legacy of the old with the legacy that we're yet to have create. And so, this is the inaugural year of hopefully many, many years of building that history in this ballpark, a ballpark that's already had so much history in years past, a long time ago. It's now coming to the forefront again. And so you got some amazing fan groups in the 68s and LDB and everybody that works with us along in parallel with everything we do. They're going to be contributing to this day. And so Casey Pratt will be there. I'm not sure if it's myself or Paul that's gonna do the first hit. I've seen the videos, and it looks like Jorge almost hit one out. Looks like Casey hit one to like center field, and so I'm worried I'm not even gonna be able to hit it, let alone get it out of the infield. So I might try to like coerce 209 Tacos to take the first swing. So yeah, I'm like so nervous to like even hit it past the pitcher's mound.
You gotta watch, because Jorge, that was the second pitch that he hit, to the deep outfield, because the first pitch almost ended up, in his ear. So you gotta watch those players. They get up there.
Threw it at him. He threw it at his head. He said something a little bit. They got a little angry. He threw it at his head. But the second pitch, he almost hit it out. And yeah, so far, I mean, for those who haven't been to Raimondi yet, we follow a lot of baseball traditions. We present, most importantly, a canvas for Oakland fans to do what they do, which is make magic. But then we flip the script on a couple things. So, what Bryan was talking about is, instead of a ceremony first pitch, we got the ceremony first hitter. And so far, no one's hit it out yet. But Jorge and Casey have been closest. There's a little rivalry between them about who hit it a little further. But someone's going to hit it out, and when they do, the crowd's going to go wild.
Yeah, I think next year we definitely need StatCast, because I mean, otherwise it's like big fish stories. Like my fish was bigger, your fish was bigger. It's like, let's get the StatCast, let's measure this and see who really hits the longest balls. Because I'm like, there's got to be something like that little roller thing that goes on the ground where you can measure like how far something went. Like we got to get somebody like to measure that, man, because bragging rights are important.
Put a little graphic up with everybody's face where it landed.
Yeah, dude.
Just like a stake in the ground with a big head.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be funny. Like whoever has the current longest first hit, like there's a big yard sign with a huge blow up head that you see at like people's graduations, and we have just like the ugliest picture we can find of them too. And you put like their picture, their head just out in the outfield somewhere, dude. Like that's the goal.
Is this a Zoom or podcast?
We're on a podcast.
You guys are on a podcast.
Please go away.
What's up, Brian?
What's up, other Brian?
There's only room for one Brian.
I just got a text from other Brian too. I was gonna. I'm sorry. I was a little busy.
I was literally texting with Brian like right before I hopped on. That's why I came on like 2 minutes late.
Well, hey, Paul, so I know you just referred to the A's as the powers that be, but most of the time you guys have been really open to acknowledging the A's. I saw your new mural with Vita Blue on it and stuff like that. It's really cool. do you guys have any relationship at all with the A's? And did you guys have direct negotiations about the June 29th, or was it more like you guys got a notification like, hey, your
Look,
application's been denied, or kind of a thing?
let me start at the top. I mean, we love the A's. We're A's fans. Like we love the history of the A's. Like so we love the players, and we're always going to honor the players, and we're always going to honor the traditions, and we're always going to honor the history. Like that's never going to go away. We have no direct relationship I've had with anybody who works for the business side of the organization right now. We've never and the way that works when you're trying to book the Coliseum is that's through the JPA. It's like the city and the county. You don't deal with if anybody like Beyonce wants to book the Coliseum, they go through she's going to go through the JPA. You don't talk to the A's directly. And so we work with them, and it was like it took a long time. It was actually, I was looking back, it was like 73 emails to get the deal done, like a lot of stuff to book it and make it happen. And we worked really hard on it, and then paid the deposit, and then got a little note back that's like, hey, the current tenant has an exclusivity on pro baseball, and they're gonna make us back out of your lease. And we were bummed about it, mostly bummed about it because we just knew that we were gonna pack that place. I mean, can you imagine the energy of like a celebration, without the baggage of where the money's going to, and for us, people need to see the baseball experience that we're putting on, because the people who've seen it love it. Right? Like it is fun. It's high quality baseball. We have Oakland fans doing what Oakland fans do. And there's like just a kind of like almost an old school, like Back to the Future vibe, like an old, like more authentic, more connected. The players are, able to do more autographs and connect with the fans more. And so people who see it love it. People who see it come back. And so for us, it was really important to, we wanted 20,000 people, 30,000 people to be able to see it, because, Raimondi only holds 4. And so, we're bummed that didn't happen. We're still bummed, but we're never going to back down as an organization. And so what we can do instead is save that date. We will keep that date forever. We will always make that date special. And this is the first one. This is June 29th. And what we're going to do is honor that place that we love. We called it, in our promo video, we called it, it's like a church. It's our temple of baseball. Like we love that place. We don't play there, but we're always going to honor it.
That's awesome.
I was in Oakland this past weekend for like 72 hours or something. But and the reason I was there was back in, I think maybe in December, I got this like message on Instagram, and this woman was like, "You don't know me. Here's a picture of my fiance and I at the Coliseum with you. We want you to officiate our wedding." Which was so funny that they asked a hot dog vendor to officiate the wedding. I had to say yes. So I had to come back and do that, wore the vest. But the next day, it was really nice. Most of the people at the wedding, weren't big A's fans, but going to the Coliseum and going to baseball games, and they've been to a few B's games now too. Going to games was like important part of their relationship, which was like so fun. They like played the Cool in the Gang as the last song of at the dance. But like, the next day, the whole wedding, we took a party bus to the Coliseum for that, the celebration of the 74 championship team.
Oh, so that was like the reception or whatever? That was like the wedding reception or something?
Well, no, the wedding, there was a wedding reception, but then the next day it was like, hey, if you're still in town, you can go to the game. Yeah. But it was dope. But it was fun. And but it was an interesting day to be at the Coliseum, because I think it was probably this first or second biggest crowd of the whole season.
It was the biggest crowd of the year. Yeah. It was the biggest crowd of the year.
Yeah. And it was much. I don't know how many people were there. There must have been at least 20.
It was like 19. They announced 19. It at 19.
Almost.
Yeah. It was,
almost got him. It was double the day before, but it was also Free Jersey Day. But there were so many people there to celebrate that team, and it was there was just this huge chunk missing. They brought out the classic cars like they'd done the last 2 years, but they couldn't have, there's no one obviously from the front office that would have had the balls to stand up and say anything. And they made Raleigh Fingers have him make comments. And the comments just were so stilted. It didn't feel like the real thing because, I get it. Raleigh's he's trying to keep getting paid. So, he's been doing
Got a
events in
lot of
Vegas and
mustache
stuff.
wax to buy, He's
He's
got
got a lot of mustache wax to buy. But they're just these unsaid things, and it felt like we're still trying to celebrate under a regime, under a communist regime or something, and I mean it really does feel like that. It's everyone knows what the feelings are, and no one's allowed to say it, or they'll get blackballed from the organization, Alex. And and it just seems with the freedom to be able to be at Raimondi, part of the fun and the freedom there is that like we can say what we want and they're going to say what we're feeling, and it's not the big major leagues, but also there's bullshit to worry about. It's just like plain fun. And
yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you saying that, and I think the other thing that coming to Raimondi allows you to do is shows you how much stays. Like we can't replace the A's, and it's not major league. You're never going to see Aaron Judge hit dingers against our team as much as. But when you come to games, you see how much fun it still is, right? Like how much fun, like what they can't take away. And part of the reason why it's so fun is because of us, like because of the fans. It's like 68s are here with their drums, and we're still here with the "Let's Go Oakland" chants, and we're still here with the like energy never goes. And let me tell you that the other teams in this league, every single time they've come here, have been like, "Oh my God, this is special. Oh my God, this is different. This is not like other, Pioneer League experiences." They're like, every single time that we hear that, and what's different is that we have this fan base. That's what we have, and we will always have this fan base, right? And like, I think one of the things that coming to Raimondi allows you to do is, it's not gonna, never replace what was lost, and we're always gonna mourn, what they're taking away, but it will remind you of how much actually is gonna stay, and how much we actually get to keep, and how much fun we actually get to have, and how many times we get to cheer "Let's Go Oakland."
Yeah,
Bryan,
it's just a sick stadium, and you're gonna get that free flag on Saturday. So really, you got to go.
The possum flag, and by the way, how could we not do a possum as a mascot? Like there were some like rumors going around that was going to be something else, but like it had to be Scrappy. It had to be Scrappy the possum.
I was gonna say, like, what were the other? I don't know if you want to say, like, what were the other things I don't know that you were considering, because that's hilarious that you landed on the possum. Yeah,
I don't know that we considered much, because I think like once we landed on, like, I think it was a pretty quick brainstorming. It's like, so it was like Rally Possum, like everyone's like, yeah, Rally Possum, and then it was like, what's a name that like signifies the city, like the city, and like what's Oakland all about? Also maybe sounds a little bit like Stomper. It's like Scrappy. So like pretty quickly, like we landed on like what it was. I think there's some stuff going around. Like some people wanted like an oak tree. Tree. The official bird of Oakland is the black crowned night heron. So some people wanted that. But come on, it's got to be a rally possum. It's got to be a rally possum.
I have a text from Saturday, December 2nd at 3:05 p.m. from what's a good name for a possum? Scrounger? No. I said, okay, well, this is Paul. This is you. You came up with Scrounger. I said, I'll put it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT is recommending Pippin the Pouchmaster for a name. But I think I like Scrappy.
You named him. I didn't even remember. There you go. Hal, Dr. Hal, the hot dog guy, and namer of mascots.
That's right.
Well, I got a text from Brian Carmel, your co-founder. He said, ask Paul if he was cool in high school.
What's funny about that is nobody was cool in our high school. We went to the college preparatory school, also known as Can't Play Sports, in Oakland, California.
Is that the one right next to the freeway right there?
The one right next to, right next to 24 off Broadway. No one was cool there. No one was cool at all. But important milestone is that Bryan and I are being featured in the CPS like alumni gazette right now.
Let's go.
Which it's going to lead to ungodly levels of clowning for our high school friends, like ungodly levels of them making fun of us.
Well, hey Bryan, I was gonna say, what's your perspective going to Raimondi after going to the Coliseum your whole life? I know there's a lot of emotions and everything behind it, but like just from your pure, because I brought my dad, my brother, and my best friend there, and they all loved it. I mean, I don't know, what is it like for you as a fan, like diehard A's fan?
Yeah. So for me, what it felt like is I could just enjoy baseball. I could laugh, I could smile, I could joke around, I could do all that and not have this huge cloud, this weight on your shoulders, knowing everything that's going on behind the scenes and everything like that. And obviously, with the history we have LDB and the actual team itself, and working with those very executive front office members and PR marketing and stuff, like it even cuts like on a personal level for me because of some of the relationships we built with some of these people and what they did to us and everything like that. So like being at Raimondi is like you get to watch baseball, right? Because like so many people talk shit about the Coliseum and stuff like that, but when things were good and you were at the Coliseum, like you don't think about the concrete confines around you. You're there, you're in the game, you're watching it, you're experiencing those moments, and it's just you and baseball. You know what I mean? Like Raimondi is that, right? And you don't have to fear the team leaving. You don't have to worry about the bad PR and the dragging that this front office does to its fan base. Like you don't have to worry about that. You got front office members that are walking around, shaking your hand, smiling at you, talking, getting to know you, calling you by first name. They know who you are. They know the difference between the Oakland 68s and Last Sidebar, right? Because they're in tune with the fan base. Why? Because they are the fan base, right? They grew up in this, and they grew up in this culture and in this baseball climate in the East Bay, and they understand that, and they know what's important. And so they highlight those very things. And I haven't mentioned or posted anything, but like it almost brought me to tears when I saw one of the new murals had like the top of our design on there. And so like I've been like, I didn't want to talk about it because I want to be there, see it, and then hear from Paul and Bryan like why they decided to put that up there. But like something like that, where I had no clue, right? No freaking clue that was going to be there or happen, and don't even know the meaning behind it. And yet they took it upon themselves to include, 3 dudes, right? On that, right? And then the 68s are featured on that as well. The Coliseum is on there. You got the Paramount Theater and stuff. And so it's like, this is what this team does, is they're genuine. It's real, it's authentic, and you get to enjoy baseball. You get to not feel bad about buying a hot dog, knowing that the money is going to buy Paul.
I was like, you never feel bad about that.
Well, nobody felt bad buying a hot dog from Hal, but
Yeah.
you don't feel bad about buying food or drinks, or any of that, because the money is going to be going to buying Paul and Bryan some new 22s on their Volvos, So no.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like nothing. It's been a lot of work every day as a grind. It was incredibly hard to put together Raimondi in the time period that we do. It's incredibly hard to throw 48 baseball games in the time period that we have to do. But the thing that continues to charge, Baller Bryan and I, is that kind of spirit and that kind of energy, and the amount of times people thank us for keeping baseball in Oakland, like literally will never get old to us, because for us there's 3 things that make baseball in Oakland so special. It's the town of Oakland itself and the iconography of that. It's the players that play on the field that have rep Oakland, the historical ones, the future ones, and it's us, the fans, in those 3 things. So you talked about that mural. That mural combines those 3 things. It's players, historical players. It's images of iconic parts of Oakland, and it's representative images of the fans themselves. And like the other team, thinks it's all about themselves, right? Thinks it's all about themselves. And we've always rejected that notion. And the thing is, because Oakland, which will always stay in Oakland, the East Bay will always stay in East Bay, and the fans will always stay here. Like we already start with 2/3 of the magic. We already start the game with 2/3 of the magic.
You know, Paul, you got to remember though that those people have feelings too, you know? So when you say that, it's hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
Jesus.
And Paul, how is I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you guys would want to sell out every game, but you know, that's not a realistic goal for anybody, you know.
Yeah.
How has attendance been for you guys, and do you feel like and you guys are still in this brand awareness phase, or like where how do you feel like everything's going, you know? Because I mean, you guys were founded you know 7 months ago, you know.
Yeah, we were founded 7 months ago, announced 6 months ago. You know, didn't have, you know, started working on this ballpark, you know, month and a half ago, like legitimately. And as much as like the, you know, the A's core fan base and like our, you know, people who follow each other on Instagram and people who follow each other on Twitter, if like hear about us all the time, the vast majority, the reality is the vast majority of people at East Bay haven't heard about us yet. They really haven't. And they're just finding out about it, but at every day. And that's just the reality of being a new team. So, you know, we were incredibly happy that opening day sold out. We've been pretty happy with our crowd. I mean, like, we'd love a sellout every day.
Father's Day looked good. It was like what 2,700 for Father's Day.
Father's Day was pretty good. And we're just building. Like if you you know, compare us to other teams that have come into Oakland, like we're starting out a lot stronger than other teams, you know, kind of came in and started out. So we're starting out with a good base, and we're pretty happy with it. And the kind of most important thing is that the product is really good, right? Like the baseball product is really good. The team's actually, we're an expansion team that's winning. We're 2 games right now out of an automatic playoff spot. The way the Pioneer League works is if you are first and second in the first half of the season, you're automatically in the playoffs. We're only 2 games back. Expansion team, kind of unheard of. And then the fan product, the fan experience product, the quality of the food, the quality of the good time. Like people leave and they come back again. They come back twice. They come back 3 times. And that's what we're worried about. If we continue to do that, then, you know, the attendance is just going to grow over time.
Yeah, word of mouth and everything.
Tell their friends. Yeah. And you know, right now there are, and like we said this early on, like we will not judge anybody by the way that they express their love of baseball ever. So if people want to continue to go and soak up the last like nostalgia of the Coliseum, we 100% respect that. If people, you know, want to come and check us out and learn about something new, we would obviously love that and respect that. But at some point in time, we're staying and they're going, and we're going to continue to provide this like fan-centric experience, and we know that it's only going to grow.
And it's kind of weird just how the Pioneer League is set up because it's not affiliated. It's almost like your best. I mean, you guys have already had 4 players called up to affiliated leagues, which in 5 weeks, which is amazing. But it's like, damn, you know, those are like, you know, your 4 best players, maybe, you know, it's kind of a weird structure, you know, I mean, it's like, how is that? Yeah.
You know, it's a mixed blessing when it happens because we love the guys, and they're, you know, they're good players.
That's the goal.
They're good, and you start, but that's, you know, that the reality is that creates the flywheel that gets our team better. So every single time a player gets a call from an MLB, you know, team, we get like 5 agents, 10 agents, you know, calling us saying, I got a guy who wants to fill that spot. Right. And the reality is everybody who plays in unaffiliated ball right now, by the way, that is a free agent. They get to decide where they go. They get to decide if they're going to play in the Mexican League. They get to decide if they're going to play the Atlantic League, or they decide if they're going to play overseas in you know, Japan or Korea. Like they get to choose where they're going to go. And what we're trying to say is that Oakland is going to give them the biggest spotlight and the biggest attention of all of those choices, and we're going to treat them the best as players, and we're going to provide them the best professional development. Like we got Walk, we got Micah, we got JT Snow. We're gonna make your career the best, and every time somebody gets that call, it's proven our point. And like it's you know, I think 25% of the times that there's been a signing in the league, it's in the whole league, it's been a baller, you know. And so we're proving the point, and that just means that we're going to get, you know, more talent coming in. And ultimately, our job is to put the best team on the field. This ownership group actually wants to win.
Is it like soccer in Europe? Do you get like you know, a 500,000 pound transfer fee each time?
It is like
2.3.
It is like soccer in Europe,
pounds?
but the transfer fee is significantly smaller. than that.
You need to be holding out on these guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Order.
Right now, what we're all about is providing the best opportunity we can for the players, right? And so if a player gets that call and they decide they want to go, to the Giants, like Elijah did, we're actually going to root for him, not the rest of the Giants, but we're actually going to root for him.
Wait, so I have a question. So, of the many agents that called, when the phone, rang, how many times did Casey Pratt's agent, Casey Pratt, call you as these baller members scooted off to MLB?
I mean, I got to give I gave Casey Pratt a hard time at the tryout. I gave Casey Pratt a hard time leading up to the tryout. I told him he was never going to make it. That's a kind of harsh message. I got to give him some respect. He almost hit it out of the park on the opening pitch. He did way better than I thought he was going to do at the open tryout. He's never going to play on the team, but I got to give him respect for his baseball ability.
Yeah, I think we need to test that Oakland Ballers beer that he was sipping on, because there must have been some sort of enhancement in that brewski he was drinking.
And Paul, also last week or 2 weeks ago, you guys announced that you raised $2 million in investing, and the Haas family. There's 2 members of the Haas family who are part of that. How cool is that? Have Jennifer C. Haas and Jesse Eisenberg, his grandson, kind of join that, and the things that they said, seems like they're kind of bringing that old school. I mean, because that was a great era of A's baseball when he was the owner, when Walt was
best owner in A's history, and then owner who treated the team the way we believe teams should be treated, which is as a community asset, right? Like he was fortunate, that he was wealthy and he got to be a team owner, but he like treated that as like a responsibility instead of like something that he got to deploy. And he really invested in it. And when he went to sell it, and he only sold it because he was ill, he made a condition of the deal that you can't move the team. Like he did everything right in terms of the way that he owned the team. And they put in they were winners, right? And so for family members who grew up in that experience, and they both did. Jesse's is actually his grandson, and Jennifer's his cousin, but they both grew up, going to A's games, as a relative of the owner, seeing it happen, seeing their family member run the team this way, and the fact that they kind of believe that they see the same kind of spirit or the same kind of motivation in what we're doing, and that they are willing to invest behind it. It was a huge honor. We're incredibly excited about it, and thankful that they've supported us in that way, because their validation means more than almost anybody else. They've seen it done the right way, right? And if they're saying that we're doing it the right way, it means a ton.
Yeah, and if I can say something on that, Jesse bought me a cheeseburger on opening night. I had no idea who he was, and he was in front of me. And so you couldn't get food opening night. It was so packed, right? And so I went in the later innings, and he's standing there, and he just asked me questions about baseball. Asked me about my time at the Coliseum, then we get into the Last Dive Bar, we get into the Ballers. And then he introduces himself. I'm like, oh man, it was like I was talking to Jesus, right? Like God is his grandfather, and he's Jesus Christ. I was like, yo, I was starstruck, right? Because if you think about it, the Haas family formulated they created you had the teams in the 70s and stuff like that, but that 80s teams, they were rock stars. You know what I mean? They put baseball on a whole nother level, to where they were an NFL team, And so the fact that the Haas family is so excited about getting involved with the Ballers organization tells you a lot. Tells you that things are going the right way, and something there is special, right? Because you can go on Facebook right now. That's where you're going to find a lot of the Haas family members. They're all up in the A's group chats right now. And so it's pretty cool to be sitting there trading stories and talking back and forth with actual, members of the Haas family. You have sisters, you have cousins, you have uncles and aunts and nephews and nieces all up in these groups. And it's crazy. It's nobody's heard from the Haas family since then. And all of a sudden they're everywhere on social, and it all has, there's one common denominator, and it's the excitement and the realness within the Oakland Ballers, inception and inaugural year, that brought them out.
Yeah, and it shows a really important thing is like, obviously the Haas family is fortunate that they got business schools and all sorts of things named after them. That doesn't happen without a lot of money. But it shows that it's not about money, it's about values, right? And they have different values. Like that family has different values. You see it in their philanthropy, you see it in the way that they ran the team, and you see it what they're doing in the community today. So anyway, we're super excited that part of it. It's just another part of the wonderful legacy of baseball that in Oakland that we should be celebrating. And if we can kind of remind people of what good looked like, we should be doing that.
All right. So there's a game Friday night, Saturday during the day. That's the one with the flags, and then a game on Sunday.
There's a game tonight.
I think I'm gonna head over. I think after this, I'm gonna head over there. Yes.
Then there's a game Saturday and there's a game Sunday. So people should come to them all. But if you can only do one this week, it's that Saturday game. We working really hard on making it special. Like it's really hard on making it special. Bryan talked about the giveaways, some of the stuff that we're doing. But it's like for us, it's like a part of the movement. It's a part of the voice. Like if it's this is your, it's not a reverse boycott. It's a boycott, maybe. I don't know. But it's one of those one of those milestone moments, that I think you want to be part of. And I think the energy here is going to be incredible. And if you haven't been out here yet, it's a really good day to make your first Ballers game.
Bryan, why did you pick? Is the car flags because of the Ghost Rider? Is that why you went with car flags? Okay. How did you pick car flags?
Well, me. I mean, I initially wanted to do a pin, and stuff like that, and so I think it was Bryan that said, "Oh no, everybody does pins or something like that." And so I said, "All right, well, we can't do pins." We didn't have enough time for. We were actually the giveaway we were working on and that we were going to do was the Trough-tini. So it was a martini glass that was an actual trough. Oh, and God. So I think I have it in my room, but yeah, so it literally had a stem on it. The base was concrete. And the problem is when we were quoting it and everything, Rob, NorCal Nodders, right, of 33
billion
Customs, Rob fucked up. Rob basically said it was intended to be a glass, right? And with that, you got all the FDA rules that come into play. And so all the quotes got canceled. Like, nope, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. So we're like, shoot. I was like, dude, you should have told him it's a statue. So then we could have promoted it as a Trough-tini statue. And then if anybody drinks out of it, hey, that's not on us. And so, but initially in the quoting process, it was like being marketed to them that it was an actual drinking martini glass. And then they said, oh, we got to get FDA involved. And so then we knew we weren't going to make the time.
Ryan, I know that you're trying to, I know this is like a big ruse and you made 5,000 Trough-tinis and they're coming on Saturday and I'm ready for it. And it was you got us disappointed and then they're going to show up.
Yeah. By the way, the Trough-tini, we're going to do it at some point because they're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. And it honors a really important part of the Coliseum experience. And so we're going to do it at some point. I want to also state for the record that like when my Bryan was on this podcast, I never interrupted his show one time. Not one time.
No, you didn't. No,
he's been here twice.
You were standing right behind that tree and just let him have his moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've been hearing him on the side. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul, ask him this. Tell him this. No, but that's the cool thing about the Ballers is like, we can't wait to have a relationship with them. Like LDB, we're 3 people, but really the people doing all the back end stuff is just 2 people. And so, we have relationships with additional teams and other stuff that we're doing. And so especially when the A's leave, like that frees up our bandwidth to do so much more. And so like, we're looking forward in the long game, doing more and more stuff with the Ballers, like bringing the Trough-tini to light, doing bobbleheads with the Ballers, like doing more and more promotional stuff and being involved on such a more deeper and intimate level and everything like that. And as the season goes on and everything, so, we're excited to have this relationship with them and for them to allow us the creative freedom to kind of go wild on some things, and we look forward to that. And but yeah, the Troftini would have been, oh god, that would have been so epic.
That's like there's like water fountains that look like toilets, and I forget. I think it's at the Exploratorium or something, and I couldn't do it. It was like a mental block. I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now-
Well, I think we should get some troughs, like when the Coliseum is
That's
no longer a
hilarious.
baseball facility.
Gotta start.
Absolutely.
Get on Angie's list. Figure out a plumber. A few plumbers. Bring them to the game. You got to start bringing them in August so they can prepare for that last game. And what is it? September 21st or something?
26, I think.
It's 26.
26, and it's like
Earlier in that homestand. They're gonna be snooping. The security's gonna be on high alert on the 26th. 24th, have them bring in all their if you need some places to hide some stuff, I got some good ideas where you can
The vendor
hide
closet.
all the all the angle grinders and everything. And then 7th inning on the 26th, pick out which one you want to bring back to Raimondi and start cutting. Who are they going to stop you with carrying a trough out? What are they going to say?
You gotta sanitize that
Stop.
thing. You
Don't
gotta
take the
sanitize
trough.
it.
I officially cannot endorse anything that.
No. I was gonna say no comment, man. No comment. I opened my mouth and got Alex in trouble. So
No. Well, hey, I was gonna say use the promo code Last Dive Bar, Ricky Blog at Last Dive Bar. There's 10% off. Use my affiliate link down below. We'll have a little talk offline, boys. Yeah. But no, thanks to Paul Freedman, one of the co-founders of the Ballers, for coming on. And of course, Bryan Johansen, one of the co-founders of Last Dive Bar. Thanks. I don't know unless there's anything else you got, Hal, but I'm pretty much good to go. How are you? You got anything?
I've said this a few different times. When I got to Raimondi, it blew my expectations out of the water for like what it is. It truly feels like an amazing neighborhood gem, So I'm sure that most people listening to this have already been to a game. Go to some more, and if you haven't, get your butt there, man. Like you can walk there from the BART. You can take the bus from the BART. You can drive there. They got a lot of parking that's got security around it. So it's really easy. It's right off the highway there. So get your ass over there.
Yeah, and the views are great. You can see the Oakland Hills, downtown Oakland. It's great ballpark, and the cool sheds. Yeah, it's great. So
you gotta get there before they build, their version of Mount Davis, which will ruin.
We're gonna ruin the sidelines. We're gonna
Mount Freedman.
Right there.
Mount Freedman. It's gonna be terrible.
Freedman. All right. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you at the ballpark soon. All right.
Awesome. See you soon.